There is some crazy drama surrounding the Hollywood Foreign Press Association. Big movie festivals like Blumfest and DC Fandom are returning in 2021. And there may be some pretty big changes coming for the MCU. We're talking all of this plus more. This is Let's Talk Movie News. Alrighty, we have a whole lot of interesting topics to get through tonight. Lots to discuss, lots to unpack, from the drama with the HFPA to the MCU to these different conventions to Dave Bautista's future in the movie industry. There's a whole bunch of different things going on. But, you know, before we get into that, how are you doing on this Tuesday evening, which is when we're filming this?
I know, we filmed this thing on Tuesday.
We do.
Is the most,
these are all previously recorded.
Yeah, it's the most out of whack time to do it, but we make it work.
We do
and
make it work.
Jesus, guys, I swear, I'm trying my best to like have a good setup, but I got so many wires under my feet. So if I ever kick my feet,
I do too.
I feel like this laptop is gonna sling right into my face.
Yeah, my light plus like I have like 4 cables going into my computer. Like it's just there's a whole bunch of random crap.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, hopefully as we move into the summer and as we get into June, our schedules will open up a little bit more and we can do some more things in person. And we have a couple other videos. We want to go on a VHS hunt and stuff like that. So hopefully we'll be able to do some cool things like that once our schedules open up a little bit. But yeah, there's a whole lot to unpack tonight. There's a whole lot going on. We went and got gas because people are crazy. And
no, because it's like if you would have said that without the circumstance at hand, that would have been the most bland statement ever. But the fact that you
I got gas on the way home today.
Yeah, it's the fact that you said it right now is just fucking hilarious considering what we're going through. Which, by the way, it sucks. But when you live in like a mid-southern area, like if you live within the Bible Belt, you could tell, like you can see like how much people are freaking out with gas.
Well,
I've seen someone fill up a Ford Fiesta with just canisters of gas. You know how small a Ford Fiesta is, but they just pack that bitch.
I mean, like if you live in Kentucky, you know there's like 4 big sections. You got Lexington, you got Louisville, you got Bowling Green, and you have like Florence, Covington, up by Cincinnati, like tri-state area. Those are like.
I love that you didn't say Lexington.
I did say Lexington.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear.
They're like the 4 big hubs. There were pictures on Facebook of people in Lexington with like 12 gas cans and like filling up their car and filling up all their gas cans. And like, you know, I probably wouldn't even have gone and filled up if people weren't crazy, because like there was a tweet like, and we don't talk politics here. Like we're not. I say this because it's black, white, Democrat, Republican, male, female, whatever.
Oh
but there are
quit
people
hiding your political agenda.
There are people like I don't know, as a society, and it has nothing to do with our leaders. Like as a society, I feel like we're living in like a recurring state of like mass panic and hysteria, and everybody is on edge over everything. Like the gas thing, everybody's like, we got to go get gas. We're going to run out of gas.
It's like a hurry up and wait.
Yeah, it's just like we live in a hurry up and wait. And like, I know last March when COVID happened, we were in a hurry up and wait because like that, like March, what was it, like the 12th or the 13th and into that like Saturday and
don't
Sunday,
get me started, guys.
It was panic.
I worked
like,
at Kroger.
You all remember, everybody was there.
Yeah, I was a retail worker at Kroger. I was a meat guy. The amount of shit I went through with you guys in the whole pandemic,
I like how you're
was
staring
ridiculous.
right in the camera.
Because it's important. You guys made my job live in hell. I'm sorry. I understand the fear, but Jesus Christ, that was crazy. And I can almost imagine that's what's going to happen with the gases. And honestly, it's at the point. It's like what Sarazawa said. It's like, honestly, let them fight. Let them fight over this gas. I don't care. You know what? I'm happy to
Finish
walk
him.
around for a little bit. Yeah.
I don't. I don't know. I'm all for taking precautions with COVID, and I'm all for being safe, but like, we can't live in fear at the same time. It's like, like back in the early 2000s when the news had that like terror or the terror chance of a terrorist attack thing happening after 9/11, like on the news, like it was just a color spectrum like every day.
What?
Back in like after 9/11 on like the major news stations, like how they have the weather in the corner, like there
Mm-hmm.
was like a constant like terror threat meter, and it was a colored thing, and like why, like what's the point of that? Like
I did not know that.
that serves no purpose except for like freaking people out. So like I get it, it's scary, I mean, but people just
That was
like,
so long ago. I didn't even watch news
I
back
know,
then. I was in middle school. I didn't have. I don't think I cared about was asking Jeanette to the middle school dance. That was the only thing I cared about.
trying
That's
to get
it. Yeah,
I'm
that's
not
all I
gonna say
cared.
what I was about to say. I'm really not. Uh, but yeah, man, we live in a permanent state of panic. Like if we could just rationally think about things before we do it, that'd be fine. But we can't.
Oh my God, you're actually
And
saying something like actually smart. Too bad no one's gonna listen.
I know. And I mean
Great.
this like as a society. I don't mean a certain group of people. I don't know. That's why all this crap coming out about aliens and like the Nostradamus zombie apocalypse thing, if the zombie apocalypse happens, or if aliens really exist and like the government announces that, or the United Nations or whatever, I'm just gonna stay in my house and like close all the windows and not turn on the TV because like it's gonna be insanity. Like
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not, I don't know. But
It's
anyways,
like
let's move on to that.
okay, yeah.
It's like what?
Let's talk some movies,
It's
guys.
what were you gonna say? I didn't
No,
mean to interrupt you.
I was just gonna say like it's like when we think about like zombie apocalypse and all the other stuff that's happening, like I feel like I feel like society is gonna be destroyed by the most like
I know.
absurd thing like gas.
Yeah,
Like I
it's
feel like this would be the tipping point. No,
I know society's gonna crumble over like a
I feel
lacking
like I feel
cheese.
like
Like I
our
don't like
yeah
something stupid.
our luck it'll be something like that instead of actually zombies.
I don't know. What the
But
hell just happened? The people, there's nobody watching right now, Miguel. They're probably like, these two assholes are sitting here talking about gas prices when when it's a
yeah,
movie news show.
literally. So yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
But let's move on. Um, so probably the biggest piece of news to unpack here is everything going on with the Hollywood Foreign Press Association and the controversy surrounding the situation. I had to dig because I didn't even I honestly I was confused. I didn't really I read all the articles, but I was still confused. I was like, what is going on? I don't understand. And kind of my goal here is to help anyone else who's confused to understand what's going on. Have you seen what's happened with the Hollywood Foreign Press, Miguel?
Guys, if you're curious about what the Hollywood Foreign Press is like, honestly, just watch the Golden Globes. That's hosted by Ricky Gervais, and it'll pretty much tell you everything you need to know. And the bulk of his conversation is the Hollywood Foreign Press is just a bunch of racists. It's just filled with a bunch of racists. You guys, you need to see this. You guys need to check it out.
Did
Brad,
he
I
say
highly
that?
recommend it. He says it.
I don't. I mean, I watched it, but I don't honestly. That was a while ago. I don't even
My
remember.
man, he has been the host, I think, 4 or 3 times. And the first one, like every single one of them, he gets more and more absurd. He keeps saying the most outlandish stuff, but
It is
true
Ricky Gervais.
about like Hollywood in general. And what's funny is that the Golden Globes keep asking him back. So he's like,
Yeah.
why are you guys asking me back? I'm literally talking shit about all of you. But yeah, if you guys want to know much about the Hollywood Foreign Press, just watch Ricky Gervais because
That's
he'll tell you
funny.
everything about
Tweet
it.
at Ricky Gervais and he'll
Yeah,
spill the beans.
yeah, exactly.
But for those of you who don't know, the Hollywood Foreign Press Association, or the HFPA, it's a nonprofit group of foreign journalists, critics, photographers, anybody who is reporting on entertainment media in some form of outlet. And they report on the entertainment industry, specifically film and television within the United States. I don't even know what I'm saying. The United States, whatever the hell the United States is. But you know, I I hate myself.
The United David Spades of America.
Right, the United David Spades. They're members of digital news outlets, newspapers, radio stations, magazines, TV shows, whatever the works. There are 87 members. I think it's 87. I know there's less than 90. And most notably, what you've probably heard them for is if you've watched the Golden Globes, just like what Miguel said, they host the Golden Globes. The Golden Globes are their baby. Every year in January when the Golden Globes come on, the HFPA is what puts that on. So their membership, you're probably thinking like, who the hell is a part of the association? Like, how do you get to do that? I did some
I'm kidding, guys. I'm totally kidding. But yes, be racist. What? I'm just repeating what he says, man. Don't kill the messenger.
Whew. I'm gonna take a sip of beer after what you just said.
But I don't know. The Hollywood Foreign Press always seems like the most pretentious group I can think of when it comes to just Hollywood in general. Do you know what I mean? Do you get my like?
I get it. I think it's a lot. I think I don't know. Here, let's keep going. Let's dig a little bit deeper. Okay. Because I did a little bit of digging, and here's what I find out. So, and let me say this: all of this information is online. Again, we have no sources. I don't know who. This is online. This is on their website. This is on Wikipedia. It's on multiple different pages. You can find out this information. Every year, up to 5 journalists can be admitted into the association. There's 2 types of statuses. There's active status. There is inactive status, or non-active status, I believe is what it's called. Obviously, right now, there are 87 active members in the Hollywood Foreign Press Association. And there's, probably thousands, if not more, inactive members that, they're associated with it, but they're not actually a member that is active. And if you wish to remain active, you have to be accredited by the MPAA, the Motion Picture Association of America. You have to submit your work, you have to submit your pictures, your articles, your movie reviews, your whatever you do, whatever your style of journalism is, you have to submit that, and you have to be accredited by them to be a member of the HFPA, which allows you to vote. I think they serve on different committees, they do different outreach things, different charities, different they host the Golden Globes. I'm not sure if their members are the ones who actually vote on nominees and who vote on winners for the Golden Globes. I'm not positive.
I feel like they do.
I would say probably, yeah, because I think there's probably some controversy with that as well. Mm-hmm. So they have to be accredited with the MPAA if they wish to remain an active member. And obviously, under the course of the last few days and weeks, they've become under fire by actors and actresses, by filmmakers, production companies, fans, film studios, because of their lack of diversity. And there have also been claims of misconduct from previous years, from this year. And people are, everybody is demanding a pretty significant overhaul of the entire association. Or, a lot of production companies are going to pull out. What'd you say?
I said gasp, as if I'm surprised.
I know, right? NBC, it's no secret, it's been out there for a few days now. NBC has canceled the 2022 Golden Globe Awards. And, in solidarity with, underrepresented peoples and with these actors and actresses that have had poor experiences with them. They want meaningful change. Here's what NBC had to say about these changes. They said, "We continue to believe that the HFPA is committed to meaningful reform. But however, change of this magnitude takes time and work, and we feel strongly that the HFPA needs time to do it right. As such, NBC will not air the 2022 Golden Globes. Assuming the organization executes on its plan, we are hopeful that we will be in a position to air the show in January 2023. So I take that as it's not happening. Like, no matter what changes they make this year, NBC is not airing the Golden Globes next year. So there will be no gold. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, there will be no Golden Globes next year. Is that what do you kind of get the same thing out of that statement?
I kind of got the same gist from what I'm reading too. And
Yeah.
I always thought as like the Golden Globes was like a precursor of the Oscars, because it's like
Yeah,
whoever
a
wins
lot of
that
people do.
pretty much gets the Oscar as well. And it'll be interesting to see without the Golden Globes. But again, like it's not like, I don't know. It's out of the Oscars and the Golden Globes. The Golden Globes always seems like the more controversial one, just because of the Hollywood foreign press. And I think the fact that is it MSNBC, right?
NBC.
NBC. That's a news station I was thinking of.
Well, NBC is too, but
yeah, I keep thinking that the fact, I'm glad that they're like standing in solidarity for it, because I mean,
yeah, me too.
it's just been like a known thing for a while that the Golden Globes have always been like kind of like a I don't know, like a icky kind of thing. Like it's never like, you never agree with most of the decisions
that's fair.
made there. You know what I mean?
Fair. I would say a lot of people probably feel the same way. And I think I've seen a lot of people say that the consistency of the nominees and the winners from the Golden Globes to the Academy Awards, which of course the Golden Globes are run by the Hollywood Foreign Press Association. The Academy Awards are run by the Academy of Motion Pictures, Arts and Sciences. And I think, at least from what I gather, the HFPA is a little bit more likely to sway in terms of their interest versus the Academy, as in what movie, what actor, what actress was better, like what was the best film of the year, things like that. And I'm not saying that the Hollywood Foreign Press Association is completely corrupt and they're just, people are saying, hey, put this movie first, put this actress first, this person wins this person. I don't mean it like that, but I think there is definitely some talk of one being a little bit more easy to sway than the other.
The Golden Globes are definitely way more skewed. There's no question about it.
Yeah, I think
I'm not saying the Academy isn't skewed either. I mean, all of them are skewed,
right,
to some degree.
And that, like you said, that's not to say that the Academy is perfect. But it's interesting. So this kind of snowballed because the LA Times conducted an investigation in 2021 that revealed that of the 87 current active members of the Hollywood Foreign Press Association, not a single member was African American. And the majority of them are male. Now, keep in mind that these journalists are from over 55 different countries. And they've gained a lot of power within the industry. Just off the top of your head, after everything we've been through over the last year and a half, you agree that that's a problem, right?
I do. And it's tough to think about it. And honestly, it's not like something that I'm going to have like a huge uproar about. Like, this is terrible, but it's definitely something that I notice. It's like, yeah, this is something that's, obviously it needs to be put in the spotlight, because if you think about all the stuff that's happened at the Golden Globes and how many people are just talking about the Golden Globes, about how like skewed it is, you have to look at who's in it now. And whenever you look at the Hollywood Foreign Press and see how much diversity there is, or lack thereof, it's definitely something to bring up.
Yeah,
and I think this year will probably be one of the years where they're like, okay, we definitely need to take a look at this, because there's something doesn't add up.
Right, and they are, and they've formed committees, and they're it seems like they're committed to meaningful change. I think that NBC and a lot of these other these investors and these people who have ties with them want to make sure that it's done the right way, and that it's not meaningful change just to get the press and people off their back. I thought this was interesting. I didn't know this. I found this online. And I thought you would find this interesting too, because we actually just talked about Brendan Fraser a little bit a few weeks ago. I think, what was that, in episode 20 maybe?
I think it was 90s.
Of Let's Talk Movies. Yeah. So in 2018, Brendan Fraser claimed that the former president of the HFPA, I'm not going to name him, sexually assaulted him. And, you know, many people believe that the backlash of speaking out against the HFPA and against that particular person snowballed his career, and not completely ended his career, because there were other factors. I think Brendan Fraser was sick at one point. I mean, I think there were multiple things, but many people believe that that was a huge contributing factor to Brendan Fraser kind of falling out of the industry. And I know you've talked about his filmography and his acting a whole lot. You're a big Brendan Fraser fan, so I was curious to see to get your thoughts on that, on, you know, the HFPA's involvement, or possible involvement. Let me say that.
Well, I mean, I remember seeing that story, like, I don't know, probably like Film Rant or like Watch Mojo or something like that, some movie news channel on YouTube, and they talked about it, and I was really, like, you know, not shocked by it. Okay, yeah, I was shocked by it, but I was also like kind of sad for it, because I always liked Brendan Fraser, and you know, obviously in the Mummy series, and then all the other ones, George of the Jungle, George of the Jungle, and all of those. And I mean, he's a pretty solid actor, and I always wondered what happened to him, because he was honestly at the same level as, say, Keanu Reeves and Tom Cruise during that time, because it was during that decade whenever all of these actors that we now come to love and are like top A-list actors, like those some of those actors I grew up and they're, you know, again, top stars. And then there's other ones that just kind of fell off, and you kind of wonder, like, well, what happened to them? And Brendan Fraser was one of them that I think wasn't technically his fault. It was the fault of the Hollywood business itself, because we can't disregard like the corruption of Hollywood in general. Like there's some corruption there, and there's too many abuse of power, and you see that with most of these female actors. And when they talk about all the abuse they went through, I mean, look at what happened with Harvey Weinstein. That was atrocious.
Yes,
and the fact that that happened kind of makes you think, like, well, what else is there? Because it's not just Harvey Weinstein. There's plenty more in that pool of the Hollywood business. And Brendan Fraser is just another one of those. Brendan Fraser and Terry Crews are the two that I think are the most pivotal one, because it goes to show that Hollywood and all of that stuff, all the abuse of power, not only goes after female actors, but also goes after all of the actors, no matter what gender. And it shows a tale of like how Hollywood's always been. And Hollywood has always been like a place where if you want to get somewhere, you're gonna have to do this to get there, whether it's dirty, slimy, or undercutting someone, or submitting this to a higher power over there. And it's insane. It's ridiculous. And but that's just been the way it's been. And whenever I kept thinking about the story of Brandon Fraser, I mean, it just, you know,
it's a bummer.
It saddens me, because it's just another one of the actors that I come to love, and he's a victim of just Hollywood in general. And that goes for every actor that has shown abuse. I mean, look at Britney Spears. And again, guys, I'm not a fan of Britney Spears. I wasn't a fan of her music, but it's important to understand. Yeah, it's important to understand like the shit that she's going through right now. Like she's still going through right now, and like that's just the way the entertainment business is in general. Entertainment business in general is kind of like that, and it's a real shame.
Right.
Because again, from two movie lovers like us, like we don't want to see that. We want to see all actors and entertainers like strive and do good, but the studios in general, like the studios and all those people in the higher ups, like I don't know, like it's a dirty profession to be in. And Brandon Fraser is just one of those in the long list of people that suffered from it.
Yeah.
And that's my 2 cents. I mean, you guys can agree with me or not, but it's that's how the way I think the Hollywood studio is, and it needs to be fixed. And Hollywood Foreign Press and its lack of diversity is just the tip of the iceberg of how dirty the whole entertainment business is.
Right.
But yeah, that was my rant. I'm sorry, guys.
Oh, you're fine. I'm a lot of good points. I'm glad you said all of that. I think there is something to be said about corruption in Hollywood. I think there is, without a doubt, wholeheartedly, without a doubt. And that's not to say that all of Hollywood is corrupt. Again, if this is true, I don't know. If this is true, what happened with Brendan Fraser? I know there have been other instances. If this is true with Brendan Fraser and he was groped or he was sexually assaulted, whatever the case may be, just because one person is kind of the sour apple, that one person doesn't speak for the whole group. Just because one person within the HFPA is corrupt, that doesn't mean the entire association is corrupt either. I think there are some changes, whether they were intentional or not, that need to be made. And I know there have been other instances of celebrities speaking out against them. Scarlett Johansson is one of them, and I've seen this even prior to any of this happening. I knew this was a problem. She refused to participate in any of the Hollywood Foreign Press Association's their conferences or their panels where they were asking them different questions. The one that comes to mind for me is, I believe it was for Avengers Age of Ultron, when that movie came out, that they had RDJ and Chris Evans and Chris Hemsworth and Jeremy Renner, all the Avengers, all the cast of that film on a panel for that movie. And a lot of the HFPA reporters and journalists are, they're asking them questions. And the one video, I think the reporter asked Robert Downey Jr. Something about Tony Stark's character arc, and it's a serious question. It's a good question about Tony Stark's character arc and the arc throughout the MCU and things like that. And then he gets to Scarlett Johansson, and they ask a question about, is her clothing too revealing? And it's just like, what the why the who cares? Like, yeah, it's like that. Like, that's no one in their right the kind of question that people care about. Like, me as a movie fan, if you're trying to hype me up for Avengers Age of Ultron or for the next MCU film, I don't give a shit what she's wearing. Like, I guess her costume has to be cool, but like, that's not a question. Like, if I could ask Scarlett Johansson a question, that would not be the question I would ask her. You know what I mean? And it's that kind of thing. It's the questions they ask. And it's the way that some of their members and their reporters conduct themselves in the presence of these celebrities that is another kind of issue. And I praise Scarlett Johansson for speaking out against that and for coming forward and saying, like, look, this is a problem. Like, I've encountered this multiple times, and I know I'm not the only one. I mean, there's probably a slew of female, especially, actresses that have encountered that same this sexist
superficial questions,
like about sexually tailored questions that just don't need to be. That's uncalled for. Like, it's promote like the movie. Like, don't if you want people to take the I forgot the fucking name of them, the Hollywood Foreign Press. Again, like, I could care less about them. If you want to be taken seriously, like, legitimately, like, put some good questions out there
And obviously they do that for some, like obviously as you can see with Robert Downey Jr. But then whenever you get to these female actors and you ask them all these superficial questions, it takes away from the whole panel. It takes away from the whole
Right.
movie. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Yes, there are people that do care about those questions, but they're fucking nitwits. They're nimrods over there that care about the costumes and like how tight they are. That's not why. That's not the
Well,
reason why we go see the movies.
it's one thing to
And
care about a costume, but it's another thing to be like, well, I think she should have more cleavage in this costume. Like, shut up.
yeah,
Like, that's not
no
a
one cares
that
about
that is,
that.
shut up. Like, that's none of your business.
Yeah, and honestly, she should have walked off. I mean, have you seen the interview with Robert Downey Jr. whenever they were talking to him about
Yes,
his
when they
past?
Mhm.
Was that a Hollywood Foreign Press?
I have no idea.
I don't
I
know.
have no
It
idea.
probably was. And
I,
guess what? He walked off because it wasn't adding to the movie that
right.
they were being interviewed for.
Right.
And
You're not adding to the experience. You're not
mhm,
adding to the questions and the, building information and building hype. You're pushing your own agenda. And
mhm,
again, that's not to say, I do not mean this as in every single journalist who is a member, an active member, inactive member, whatever, of the Hollywood Foreign Press is asking these sexist targeted questions. I don't mean that at all. But one of the things that they're doing,
the proof is in the pudding. That's what I'm saying. Like, if
right?
if there is accusations of the Hollywood Foreign Press being um acting in that way, like it shows, like we see it, and it obviously needs to be dealt with because that's not correct journalism. I'm not a like I
We're
am
not
not a
journalists.
I'm not a journalist. I'm
We
not
do a
any like
YouTube show about
future.
movies. That's it.
Yeah, but
um,
when I because like I enjoy watching those interviews. I think they're pretty cool. I love
yeah,
seeing
me
these
too.
actors talk and all that. But when I see questions like that, it's just like you're just like what's it called? You're dimming down the interview as a whole. You're killing the
Yeah,
momentum and the vibe of it with these questions. And again, that's just one thing that the Hollywood Foreign Press, again, some of them are doing that's tarnishing the whole movie going experience. You know what I mean?
right. And we'll get into this again towards the end of this segment here. But part of what they're doing is creating a new code of conduct. That's part of their new initiative,
Mhm.
to improve the association as a whole, which is good. You need to have boundaries for your reporters. Like, this type of question is perfectly acceptable, this type of question is not.
Mhm.
You need to have that because your journalists need to know, like, this is what's expected of you. Like, if you are fortunate enough to be in one of those panels and you can ask these people questions, you need to have what's the word I'm looking for? You need to have some decency and some honor. You
Some
know,
decent, some respect,
yeah,
pretty much. Because it's like
perfect. You need to
if
have
you
some respect for the
mhm.
people that you're asking the questions to. And I
Because the
think part of
questions you
that,
see there are just because the questions you see are like I don't know, either they've already been said, they're already like public knowledge, or they're superficial.
true,
And those questions right there, like they don't need to be answered. They don't even need to be on your clipboard. They don't even need to be on your notebooks. It
right?
doesn't matter. And I don't know, like it you killed my vibe. No, I'm kidding. What were you gonna say?
Um, I don't even know what I was going to say. There needs to be an improved code of conduct.
Mm-hmm.
For these journalists and for these reporters. And again, that's not to say that every single journalist who is a member of the HFPA is asking these type of questions, but there needs to be boundaries. I've always been somebody that, like, I've met a couple of celebrities in my life. Like, I, I a lot of people get starstruck very easy.
Oh, I'll get starstruck.
I like I I've
Wholeheartedly. I
always
have
tried
not
to
met a
view them as
famous person yet.
people. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you talk about like the hardships with, even look at Michael Jackson. Like, again, different music industry, but I think Michael Jackson was kind of damaged because you can't, when you're never left alone. Like, people see celebrities as like a different species of human being or something
Mhm.
like that. And
Well,
like,
I'm gonna say right here, Michael Jackson was a fairly complicated entertainer.
and
That's yeah,
I admit
but
he was.
yeah.
But I'm saying when I just keep thinking back to that Scarlett Johansson. I'm a big fan of her. I really like ScarJo a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I keep thinking back to that video. When you're asking serious character plot related questions of all of the male actors, and then you get to her and you ask a sexually driven question, it's like she has feelings. Like these actors have feelings. They don't just brush off whatever
Mm-hmm.
question you ask them. Like, it matters, you know what I mean? As a human being, it matters. So I hope that if anything comes out of this whole thing, they need more diversity, but they need humility too. Like this goes for everybody. Everybody needs to have a little bit more humility and a little bit more grace moving forward. I mean, you just exactly like you said, you have to treat people with respect. And right now, it seems like there's not a lot of that going on. So I hopefully moving forward, this whole endeavor it'll better the association, it'll better the experience, not only that the actors and actresses have at these discussions and these panels, but it'll be better journalism. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and
It'll be better journalism.
I'm not saying like these journalists need to be like, restricted to certain questions.
Right.
Because I mean, fuck, I mean, that's, it goes against, I guess, the fucking
Free speech. It goes against free speech.
But it's the fact that there has to be an understanding of like, there has to be a level of respect and understanding with what you're asking with some of these people. And some people like to hide behind that limitations with all this journalism, and they think they could just ask all these quote unquote hard-hitting questions that again are superficial or already known to the public, and some of these people have already mentioned. And it's, I don't know, I hope we see some change in regards to that, because I mean the entertainment movie business is not going to go anywhere. Like, it's going to stay for forever, almost certain. And if we keep seeing these types of actions happen with these actors, I mean, it's going to come to a time where the movie business or the entertainment business is going to get blacklisted. Like, no one's going to want to enter that business because of all of the slimy, grimy stuff that happens on the inside. Yeah. And yes, I get it. It's they say Hollywood isn't paved with gold; is paved with the tears of all the other people that haven't made it. And just, I don't know, just that's a phrase people say that I've heard.
Right there,
it's some deep shit. Yeah. Like, can you imagine you saying a kid coming in wanting to be an actor, and they hear that, they're gonna get fucking scared, or they're gonna get thrown off. Yeah. And like, and what's that gonna do? It's gonna lower the amount of actors and entertainers in this world, and we can't have that. I mean, that's something that we all need in this world. And hopefully we see some change, because honestly, the more I keep seeing all of these actors and actresses and entertainers are just being used as like props to show
pawns.
Yeah, as pawns in this business. It's getting ridiculous to see. Yeah. Because these are human beings. This is their job. They clock in, they clock out, they have vacations. I mean, they go home same as every single one of us. And yes, we may be starstruck by them, but they're just people just like us. And
I'll tell you what, something that's good to come out of COVID is, and I'm not saying COVID was good. That's not what I mean. Nobody take it that way. Please, nobody take it that way.
No one is thinking that, but okay. I am getting what you're thinking.
But one of the good things to come out of the situation, making it positive out of a negative, is seeing celebrities, I think, in their home environment, because like across the board, we need to see celebrities as human beings. Mm-hmm. They're the same as you and I. Mm-hmm. They're on the global stage. People see them every day in movies and music and TV. And I have the hiccups now. We need to see them as human beings. Other other controversies surrounding this whole thing. It's supposed to be a nonprofit organization or association,
Mm-hmm.
excuse me. But it was reported that this LA Times investigation reported that members are paid over $1 million each year to just be on these committees and things like that. So it's like,
How nonprofit is that?
is it? Again, the big thing right now is that there are no Black people on the in the association at all. And then I believe, this happened last month. A member, and I think it's the same member who was associated with the Brendan Fraser thing, who has since been expelled, referred to Black Lives Matter as a racist hate movement in a complete email to the rest of the association. Which, dude, look at the world, man. Read the as you always say, read the room.
Yeah, read the room.
I mean,
man.
like, that's not, dude. That's not okay. Like, that's
get with the times.
Get with the times, man.
Yeah.
Get with the times.
And what'd you say? They're all a bunch of, I don't know, middle-aged white guys.
I don't know. I believe, I'm not certain. I believe it's mostly male, and I know that there were 0 African Americans on the entire association. There's none.
Mm-hmm.
As a result of all of this, obviously, that we said this before, the Golden Globes have been canceled. Tom Cruise returned his 3 Golden Globes to the HFPA that he won for Born on the 4th of July, Jerry Maguire, and Magnolia. Big production companies like Netflix, Warner Brothers, and Warner Media and all of the Warner Media subsidies like HBO Max, HBO, Amazon, NBC, they have all threatened to cut ties. Here's what Warner Media had to say. They said, while we commend the HFPA's membership approval of the plan to move towards radical reform, we don't believe that the plan goes far enough in addressing the breadth of our concerns, nor does your timeline capture the immediate need by which these issues should be addressed. Warner Media Studios and networks will continue to refrain from direct engagement with the HFPA, including sanctioned press conferences and invitations to cover other industry events with talent until these changes are implemented. So look, you and I have given Warner Media a lot of shit. There are a lot of people who have given Warner Media a lot of shit, but you know what?
Yeah, props to them.
Props to them, man.
Props to
Good
them and
job,
props.
Warner Media. Awesome job. I mean, they're done. I mean, I get the vibe that a lot of these production companies are like, if you're going to be this way, and if you're going to treat these actors that we have hired to do these films, if you're going to treat these actors and actresses that way, and if you're going to, be exclusive in your membership and things like that, we're not going to have anything to do with you. We're going to look the other way, and we're going to look, that their journalists are not going to be invited to press conferences and things like that to cover these movies.
It's pretty much here. Look, like this is a little controversial, but it's the reason why they're doing this because the Hollywood Foreign Press is currently they're currently in the barrel. They're in the barrel, and they're gonna get torn to shreds. And all these other studios like that were with them, they're like, well, we don't want to get any part of the spotlight, so they're pulling their support. That way, they're not gonna be shined under the light and shown for what they are too. Because again, each studio, I don't care. Every single studio and production management has some dirty little secrets in that business, and they don't want their skeletons to be unleashed from the closet. So that's why they're pulling away. So they don't, the light doesn't get under them. But I think it's great that Warner Bros. Is doing that. It's great that the Scientologist Tom Cruise is doing it too. And hopefully more will do that. That way they understand that if you condone or associate yourself with these types of actions, you will be blacklisted. You will be the next one in the barrel. And
yeah,
that's sounds like a threat, but it's like a warning to the whole entertainment business. It's like, hey, look, times are changing. Either get with it, or you're gonna get left behind, straight up. And that's the way I keep thinking about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Dang, we got hot on this one.
we got hot, but there was a lot to cover. And again, part of this segment, like I wanted to make sure, because I was one of the people, I didn't fully understand what was going on. So like I dug a lot. Like I wanted to make sure that I knew what we were talking about, because hopefully this segment, and I'll release this as a standalone video too. Hopefully this segment kind of explains a little bit more of what's going on. Again, similar to the Tony Moran video for Halloween, similar to our Warner Media rant. This isn't I don't want to bash anybody. Like I don't want to use our platform and the show that we have created to bash anybody. But again, things like this need to be addressed. And I'm glad that these big movie studios, I'm glad that these actors and actresses, I'm glad that movie fans, I'm glad that these things are being addressed. And it does seem like the HFPA, they have hired a legal firm to write their new code of conduct, which we've talked already. They've hired a chief of diversity. They've promised a 50% increase in membership tailored to underrepresented groups. So probably more African Americans on there. They've promised new administrative positions, and obviously there's a whole lot more. And again, if you look at their Twitter, if you look at the Golden Globes Twitter account, they have links to all of those, their timeline of events, their timeline of reform, things like that on their Twitter account. So it does seem like they're making necessary changes. I just hope that they do it in the right way. And I hope that, like you said, there is a lot of corruption in Hollywood. There is a lot of bullshit that goes along with being in that industry. And I hope that this is a good step forward into reforming some of that and into just seeing people as people, and not seeing this as an industry, and is not seeing dollar signs and likes and clicks and comments when you look at somebody.
Yep.
So that's where we're going to end this there. So I know this is an ongoing situation. There's probably a whole lot more to this story than even we got to cover, but I hope that this has helped to explain a little bit of what's going on. And at least you kind of hear our thoughts on it. And so, yeah.
You'll hear more of it soon, because there's gonna be more coming with this.
There will be more coming
with this industry, and we'll be here to talk about it. That's all I
For
can
sure.
say.
Let's talk movies.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on. So we have a couple of other interesting things. There are some conventions and festivals returning this year. DC Fandom, which we had last year. We got the Batman trailer. A couple of interesting things came out of that. We got the initial Snyder Cut announcement that the Snyder Cut would be happening. It came from DC Fandom. This year, again, I believe it's going to be entirely virtual. It will take place on October 16th, 2021. Miguel, I kind of wanted to brainstorm with you, what could we possibly see from this year's DC Fandom, given the fact that they're probably not going to continue the Snyderverse? Although, let me get close to my mic here.
I'm very close to my mic.
If they were going to continue the Snyderverse and they wanted to make a big deal out of it, and it was going to be an HBO Max exclusive, DC Fandom would be the place to do it.
Yep.
Am I right or am I wrong?
You are right. And
no, it's probably not going to happen. You're kicking over tables and shit. It's not going to happen. You're pissed.
I'm pissed. If it was going to happen, it would obviously be at DC Fandom, because honestly, with these, whenever cons and all these events start taking place, like, it's going to be the time to like make announcements. Like, these movie studios are going to be kicking out some pretty big news, because it's out of COVID, we're soon to be out of COVID, and people just want to be wowed by different movies coming out. And I think the next line of different Comic-Cons and fandoms events, like, it's going to be, we're going to have to pay close attention to these, because there's going to be a lot of spots that's going to come out, and it's going to get the fans craze.
Right. Well, a couple that I kind of had on my list, hopefully, I'm not sure when they're going to camera. Well, actually, for the Flash, I know they've already gone to camera. They're filming the Flash as we speak in the UK. Hopefully we'll get a trailer for The Flash, or at least kind of a teaser trailer type thing. We'll probably get a new trailer for Matt Reeves, the Batman, because they're going to really start to push that move. I feel like around October or so, they're really going to start to push their marketing campaign for the Batman. Do you know when Black Adam films?
No, when?
I don't know. I'm not sure when they're going to camera for Black Adam, but maybe we could get a trailer or a teaser for Black Adam,
or even a poster,
or even a poster. Yeah.
There's no like actual like confirmed like legitimate posters that's been disputed yet either. Kind of makes you think Warner Bros. Really don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Right. Well,
with this DC stuff.
And maybe even some more information on Blue Beetle. I think for me, the biggest thing is I will be curious to see what exactly is announced, because I'll tell you what, if this year's DC Fandom is just all of the titles that we already know are happening and they don't announce anything new, that's going to be a major disappointment.
It's going to be pretty lackluster.
And like, let's be completely honest, where they're taking DC is already a big enough disappointment. If they don't announce anything new, it's going to be like,
Yeah. Did you hear Warner Bros? Or I don't think it's Warner Bros, but DC, or Warner Bros unfollowed Henry Cavill from his Instagram account. Henry Cavill never followed him in general, but yeah. Goodbye, Superman. That's all I could say.
Oh.
Yep. It's.
Oh.
So yeah. Bye Henry Cavill.
That makes me kind of uncomfortable.
Yep. It's just the way it is here at the movie business. Again, like you said, it's all about that money. That's some tea dropped right there, boy.
And we're moving on. So the other festival that is definitely happening on October 1st, 2021 is Blumfest. As far as we know, the panels are being kept pretty much under wraps. But the big question here is with Halloween Kills. Obviously, especially lately in the horror community and the Halloween community, there's a big question right now of when are we going to see a Halloween Kills trailer? When are we going to see a poster? When is that marketing campaign really going to start punching? My guess, if you look back at Halloween 2018, I think we got a poster in May and I think we got a trailer in mid-June. And, Ryan Turek and David Gordon Green, they've confirmed that it's going to be similar, but it's not going to be the same exact marketing campaign or marketing strategy as Halloween 2018. So it's going to be slightly different. And especially given the COVID situation, with Halloween Ends, they don't even know when. They haven't filmed Halloween Ends. They don't know if Halloween Ends is going to come out next year. We're still living in a world where Halloween 2018 came out. 2 years later, in 2021, we're getting Halloween Kills. If they can't film Halloween Kills sometime this year, we're not going to get Halloween Kills until 2023. Or Halloween Ends, excuse me. If they can't film Halloween Ends sometime this year, we're not getting that movie until 2023. So the big question is, where is the trailer? Could they drop the trailer 2 weeks before the movie releases?
What?
Do you think we could get a trailer drop for Halloween Kills? They can drop a poster in May or June, maybe another teaser or a TV spot, and then drop a legit trailer really close, less than 2 weeks prior to the release date. What do you think? Or do you think that's too soon?
If you're saying 2 weeks before the movie drops, that's too far. It's too close to the movie release. You know what I mean?
I'm kind of in the same boat. I've seen a couple people on Twitter and YouTube and Facebook and things like that. Like, oh, they're going to wait. They're going to drop the trailer at Blumfest. Here's the thing. Halloween Kills is already going to be a big movie, but they're going to want to build that momentum prior to that film dropping. Exactly. I think if you drop it too close or too far which is why we still haven't gotten the trailer to, there's so many people that are like, F Blumhouse, we still haven't gotten a trailer and it's been 2 years, blah, 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 blah. Come on, they're not going to drop this trailer now when it's still up in the air, when exactly Halloween Ends is going to come out. I mean, I think it's hell or high water, Halloween Kills is dropping in October. I don't think there's any discussion there. It's dropping, whether it's on VOD, whether it's in theaters, whether it's on whatever, it's dropping. I personally think that we are going to get a trailer. Probably my guess would be sometime in June or early July. We might get a poster in the next few weeks at the end of May. I would say that's probably unlikely. I still think June. I think June is when Halloween Kills is going to really ramp up its marketing campaign. And you know what that means is we got to get you caught up. Sometime before like mid-June, we got to get you caught up with Halloween 2018. Well, Halloween 2018, and we got to get you caught up. We'll do a couple of trailer reactions and things, or the teaser reactions for Halloween Kills, which obviously I've seen, but you have not. And we'll start checking that out a little bit more. We'll have to see. That's a bold strategy, Cotton. We'll have to see how it plays out.
Yeah.
So
I think it will come out. I'm almost certain. I agree with you the fact that it will come out in the summer, because it'll honestly makes better sense for it to come out like midsummer. So I'm thinking like around
it's
July,
close, but it's not
out.
too close.
Yeah.
I think if you wait for that 2 weeks prior to the release date of the movie, it's too close. I think people, you got to pop the wine bottle at the right time.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I think if they drop a trailer in mid to late June, I think that's gonna kick you off a real good marketing campaign.
Yeah, exactly.
And we know they have the trailer cut. The trailer is done. The trailer's been cut since last October, I believe, when the movie was supposed to come out, because it was supposed to come out last October. But again, they wouldn't have dropped it in January knowing that it's not going to come out until this October. I mean, it just wouldn't make sense.
Yeah.
So again, we'll have to see how that one plays out. My guess is that we're going to get a Halloween Kills trailer in mid-June. Again, we have no sources. Nobody's telling me that. That's just my gut feeling. Upcoming Blumhouse projects, they're obviously Halloween Kills, Halloween Ends. We'll probably get more of an update on Halloween Ends. I'm sure there's some stuff going on behind the scenes, deciding when they're going to go to camera and things like that. There's a film called The Black Phone. Know nothing about it. Have no idea. Paranormal Activity 7 is going to happen in 2022. And then, of course, we still have no real information on the rumored Exorcist remake, on the Wolfman remake, Spawn. There's other TV releases. Again, the panels for Blumfest are kind of being kept under wraps. So I'm not really sure what we're going to see from Blumfest. I'm sure it'll be interesting. I've wanted a Wolfman remake for quite some time. So if that's
Benicio del Toro's fucking... Is that his name? Yeah, Benicio del Toro's iteration of the Wolfman was...
Yeah, it was good. It was good. Dude, speaking of werewolves, we need to... I bought American Werewolf in London. We need to watch that.
Oh, yeah.
Sometime this summer. Yeah, because I've never seen it. You've never seen it, right? It's one I've never seen. So we'll have to do we'll do a commentary, and it'll be both of our first times. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
That will be fun. Couple other little news stories we have before we wrap up here. So we just did our Army of the Dead trailer reaction, which I know we're hella late getting to that, but it's okay. There's some question with the MCU and changes coming into the MCU, specifically with the Guardians of the Galaxy. And, a couple episodes ago, we had shared an article from, I believe, Geekosity magazine with Mikey Sutton, where it was rumored that Drax is supposedly gonna die in Thor: Love and Thunder.
It's either Drax or Rocket, because I remember hearing in an interview with James Gunn, he said he was really excited to talk about Rocket's putting Rocket's story arc full circle, pretty much. So
Mm.
it kind of makes it seem like he's putting Rocket's storyline in wraps. I think it may be Rocket. You think it's gonna be Drax?
I personally think Drax,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know. We'll see if I can
Both,
change your mind here.
yeah, both kind of make sense to be honest. But
I think Drax more than Rocket. I love Rocket. Rocket's like one of my favorite characters, honestly.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, so Dave Bautista, uh, in a recent interview, said that he purposely chose to do Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead over the Suicide Squad. Um, Although James Gunn specifically wrote him a role in the Suicide Squad that he didn't take. So I'm curious who exactly he wrote him in for. Here,
John Cena's. I'm almost certain.
I would guess John Cena or the Shark. That'd be my
Yeah,
guess.
true. Could be
King Shark.
Oh yeah, because no one knew who was gonna voice King Shark until like near when the trailer came out. Because I found out it was Sylvester Stallone. It's Sylvester Stallone, right? I found out it was Sylvester Stallone like when the trailer dropped.
For sure.
Yeah, that's when I found out. So obviously that was the case, and I'm sure Dave Bautista wanted to do more than just voice a CGI shark.
Yeah.
In swimming trunks.
And I mean, I don't blame him. I get it.
Yeah.
But he had this to say about picking Army of the Dead over the Suicide Squad. He said, I get to work with Zach. I get to build a relationship with Netflix. I get a lead role in a film, and I get paid a lot more money. So like, I get it. I mean, dude, I understand. And
pick your battles.
At first I was kind of taken back by this because I was like, but he already has a relationship with James Gunn.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a business. It's your job. I get it. The interesting thing comes out of his recent interview with Digital Spy, because Dave Bautista said, I don't know what the script of the third film is, to be honest with you. There was a script years ago that obviously is going to have to change because of the whole direction of the Marvel universe, or that the Marvel universe has changed. And they asked him, what was the script that he was referring to? He said there were talks for a while about a Drax and Mantis film. It was really because it was James Gunn's idea. He really wanted to do a Drax and Mantis film. He laid it out to me. I thought it was such a brilliant idea, but I haven't heard any follow-up from the studio, and I don't think they're very interested because it doesn't fit into the way that they have things mapped out. And to be completely honest, it doesn't.
No.
That would be...
I mean, I like Drax and Mantis's relationship, like in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Too. But I mean, that's just for what it was. It was just a nice little moment they had.
I don't know if I
Not
could
romantic,
watch it for an hour.
I would just say, yeah. Plus, Drax's character in that is not, what I'm saying, a full 120-minute movie material. You know what I mean?
It's fun comedic relief, but it's not necessarily like.
Yeah.
It's not a.
Plus,
I couldn't get a full feature film out of it.
His story is technically over. His whole purpose of being in the Guardians of the Galaxy is pretty much over. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Thanos is gone. There's no more Thanos. His family's been avenged.
For sure.
So I mean, there's not much. It's not much left for Drax, so I can understand. But also, my case with Rocket is that he's already like he's been like the main focus of Guardians of the Galaxy too, because it was pretty much like saying him like he was trying to like distance himself because he was too close to getting close with the Guardians,
right?
The whole group as a whole. And when he lost them, and then they came back, I can almost see a situation where there's a good chance the team could go away and Rocket sacrifices himself. I could see that happening. That's the only reason. And also
I could
just
see that.
Also, just based on what James Gunn said, talking about his whole back history, which I'm almost certain that's what it probably will be. It'll talk about Rocket's backstory, because that's the only one that has been told. You know what I mean?
Right.
Drax has been told already. Star-Lord's, Peter Quill's storyline, Gamora, Mantis, and Nebula's. All of their stories have been told already, and Yondu, except for Rocket. It's just been hinted everywhere, but
right.
I think that would be one of the main focus of that movie.
Well, one of the interesting, the biggest, most interesting part of what Dave Bautista said was that other than that, no. I mean, as far as my obligations, I've got Guardians 3, and then that's going to be the end of Drax. So I think he's leaving the character. I think it's a combination of maybe the studio was going to kill him off anyways, and he's leaving the character to go to pursue other career aspirations.
Mm-hmm.
And then my question is, if Drax dies in Thor: Love and Thunder, and Guardians 3 comes out after, if he dies in Thor: Love and Thunder, could Guardians 3 take place before the events of Love and Thunder?
You think he's gonna die in Love and Thunder?
I don't know, because remember that there was that original leak where when they're fighting Gore the God Butcher, Drax dies, protecting the rest of the Guardians. And I know Dave Bautista has kind of criticized Disney's take on Drax. He said that, he's Drax the Destroyer, and he said they kind of watered Drax down a little bit.
They really did.
They really did. I mean, they did. I mean, let's be completely... He was a badass in the first Guardians, but like... They kind of watered him down.
Yeah, now it's pretty much just comic relief.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with him. It's just I think I don't know. He kind of makes it sound like this is really going to be the end of Drax. And I
could see, honestly.
Like, I could too.
Like taking the whole storyline of Marvel as it is, but just looking at Dave Bautista as an actor. Like, I mean, he's got a good future ahead of him. I mean, he's a solid actor. He has a decent resume. He still has that chip of being the just a big tough guy, and I think he wants to branch out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I don't blame him at all. As an actor and as an artist, I don't blame him at all. I also think that his character arc is kind of done. Like, they kind of rounded his character arc already. I think if you're going to kill one of the Guardians, I think Drax is the one to kill. So I mean, that could be a big change for the MCU. Another big change for the MCU, which we've already gotten already, is Sam Wilson becoming Captain America. And it's also rumored that Sam Wilson, as of right now, we know that there's a Captain America 4 happening with Sam Wilson and Bucky Barnes returning, but that's not going to be for a little while down the road, obviously.
Yeah.
It's rumored that Sam Wilson will return in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever as a part of that cast, which I think is really cool. Obviously, we're still a couple years away. What do you think his role is going to be in Wakanda Forever? Obviously, we don't know anything about the plot, so I guess that's kind of a hard question. I kind of threw you under the bus with that question.
Yeah, a little bit. Oh no, because again, the plot for Wakanda Forever is totally under wraps. No one knows what's going on. Obviously, right. They're going to talk. They say they want to talk more about the intricacy of the
Yes, they have said that,
of the place itself.
And definitely, my thought was, because the Wakandans made his Captain America suit, is he going to get a new suit?
I don't know. His suit looks pretty dope.
I have no idea. So I saw a couple people on Twitter saying, are they going to make him a new shield? But I don't think they should make him a new shield, because literally the entire purpose of Falcon and the Winter Soldier was to get the shield back.
Yeah, so rectifying the story of the shield.
I feel like that wouldn't make any sense. But either way, between Captain America appearing and Sam Wilson changing in Wakanda Forever, with we're going to get a new Black Panther, obviously because of Chadwick Boseman's passing, the stuff going on with Venom, and how he hopefully will be kind of being incorporated into the greater Spider-Man universe. The stuff with Drax and the Guardians. There's a lot of changes going on in the MCU, and I think we're finally starting to kind of transition into another. I say another phase, but another
era.
Another era into the MCU. I think we're starting to I think we're starting to transition a little bit. So it's going to be, I think the next few years are going to be a big transition point for the MCU. I know not Captain Marvel, Ms. Marvel just finished filming for the Disney Plus television show. So I'm curious to see what that's going to be. I think we're going to start really filling in the gaps with these TV shows. I've been pleasantly surprised with how good the TV shows have been. And I know both of us are really excited for Loki too, and to see the direction that they take it with Loki. So
Yeah,
for sure.
I agree. And I think we'll definitely have to keep tabs on what's going on with them. I saw a funny TikTok where it's a DC girl talking about like how Marvel people are so spoiled because they're given everything compared to what DC's getting. It's like, cause like we get everything. Like it, like literally, like
You
what is
do.
it? 5 years in advance, you get to see everything that's gonna happen. And I mean, that's great. I mean, we technically wouldn't have a podcast if it wasn't for it.
Right.
So again, like this is just
we
something
really
have to
wouldn't.
track
This
on.
show
We
wouldn't
really
exist
wouldn't.
without that.
No, not at all. So I think it'll be something to keep track on because again, this is just another transition in a different what's it called? A different
Era, phase.
different direction.
Yeah,
That's what I was
different
thinking.
direction.
It's a different direction Marvel wants, the MCU wants to do. And honestly, it's working so far.
I agree.
So.
But guys, that is going to do it for this week's episode of Let's Talk Movie News. We want to thank you so much for tuning in. Please, if you're watching on YouTube, let us know in the comments, what do you think of the craziness going on with the Hollywood Foreign Press Association? What reforms do you think need to be made for the Hollywood industry in general and the movie industry in general? What do you think about these crazy changes happening in the MCU? Where do you want to see the MCU move as we go forward? And also, what do you think of all of these films coming up? We have a whole lot of films coming up over the course of the next couple of months, and we really want to hear your thoughts. So thank you so much for tuning in. New episodes of Let's Talk Movies drop on Monday evenings at 8 p.m. and new episodes of this show, Let's Talk Movie News, drop on Friday evenings at 8 p.m. Thank you so much. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at We Talk the Movies, and we'll talk to you soon. Have a great weekend. See ya.